Man, this is an awesome thing. Congratulations, man. This is the last time. So I'm gonna get one of those. Just one. We only gotta do this one. Just go through that one more time. This is fucking awesome right here. What we do.
That's right, bro.
I want to thank everybody for coming out here, man. Like it has been truly an honor just to do the position I did, do the programming tonight, and through the course of this event. And tonight's speaker that I picked, obviously this guy was here when I got here, and I started going to some meetings, and they said, man, I'll go to the same meeting, and they're like, man, did you get dope in the same spot? And I'm like, no. And they said, man, you need to get around, go to some different meetings and talk to our traditions about how, pick up some information as we visit various groups, man, and when we get involved with service, we learn some things. And by moving around and going to different meetings, I started hearing these guys and they talking this program about how we learn to listen and we listen to learn. And this is one of the guys that when he talks, man, I started listening. He's got a good working knowledge of this program, the 12 steps, the 12 traditions, and I really believe in his recovery, and he's really helped me mine with that. Anything more from me, I give you credit.
Yeah, I'm Greg and Adam.
Hey, Greg.
Oh man, I'm so filled up by the atmosphere here. This is just spectacular. I was telling somebody on my way up. I haven't been. This is the first time I've ever been to this event because I'm normally coaching basketball somewhere, and. Means to me, being in Tower Hollow. This is just a beautiful event. I thank Rob so much for inviting me to speak, and Chuck and the rest of the committee for asking me to come and to share some of my experience, strength, and hope tonight. And I just want to tell the new person with One Day Clean, sweetheart, you never have to use again.
That's right.
Okay? You are the most important person here. And for all the other people who just got their, who received books and got their hugs, this is the program at work. This is why we keep coming back. And I'm glad I haven't taken the podium away. I kind of feel weird up here anyway, because they used to tell us, like, don't put nobody on no pedestal, and I kind of feel like I'm raised up a little bit. So, yeah, because if you left the podium up here, you'd never see me. So, you'd have to get a taller speaker. I was thinking about, normally when I'm not an opening speaker, I'm not a closing speaker. Normally if I do an activity or an event, I do a workshop. Because I'm like the guy who comes in and you give him a set of instructions and you don't fucking read the instructions, you just start putting the shit together anyway. Okay? Like you know what you're doing. I'm that guy. So when I got to Narcotics Anonymous, my sponsor kind of helped me overcome that. He said, we're going to give you a set of instructions. And we want you to read the instructions. And then you come back and you tell us what you think it is that you understand. Well, I didn't read the instructions. I almost got my ass tore off. And I came back and told him what happened. He said, okay, now you're ready. And that's how the learning process to me works. You work it sometimes by not working it. Only thing you got to do in here 100% is not use. Is not use. Because we all come from like different walks of life. We come from different cultural backgrounds. Some people grew up in using environments. Some people grew up like I did, like in a middle-class neighborhood. We all come from all walks of life. We all have a couple things in common, though, because I know when I talk to people, they got tore out the frame like I got tore out the frame. They F their life up like I F my life up, okay? So it really doesn't matter what your background is or where you came from, we can recover.
Hell yeah.
Okay, and that's my thing. We can recover. I don't care where you came from or what you've done. Or how many times that you had to start over. You keep starting out, just continue to keep coming back, and it'll kick in. It'll click. The worst thing you can do is to give up. So just keep trying. We know you got a desire to stay clean, or you wouldn't be here. Because this is the last place I wanted to come.
Yeah.
I did not want to be no addict, and that's why it took me so long to get here. Because I refused to acknowledge the truth about my drug addiction. And it wasn't until the pain got great enough that I finally understood I can't stop on my own. You know, after years of trying to manipulate and control my using, switching girlfriends, apartment buildings, drug dealers, different types of drugs, it all boiled down to the same. I could not stop using. You know, and it got to the point where I couldn't live with or without drugs. So we got that in common, if you were addict. And I have to acknowledge that. I remember the first meeting I went to, well, I went to treatment. I'm gonna tell this little story so you can get to understand, because I always believe the beginning part of your story kind of sets the stage for the rest of your recovery. You can always go back to the beginning part of your story and identify certain things about yourself that will help give you an idea of where you're at in your recovery. I went to treatment not by choice, but because I was going to lose my job. So I went to treatment because they said I was on the last chance program. When I came in, I got 22 years clean. And when I came in, they were just now, the job I was on was just now recognizing that drug addiction was a problem. That people were just not being absent from work because they didn't want to come to work. They were absent from work because they was caught up on drugs. Okay, they was crashing trucks. They was having all kind of industrial accidents because they were caught up on drugs. So they put a program together where you could go in, instead of just firing people because they invested too much money in there, they said you can go to this program and you can, if you complete the program, keep your job. So I said, that sounds like a damn good idea to me. So I went in there. I went into the program and I brought all my dishonesty because I was lying the whole time in there. But I did learn a couple things. I learned that if you say the right things to certain people who are not addicts, you can get away with just about anything you want to get away with. Because I've been lying to my parents, I lied to my family members, I lied to the counselor. I was going to get away with, I got an education. I got a degree. I got 2 degrees. Okay, I understand what my problem was. I was just trying to keep from getting fired. I understand what my problem was, blah, blah, blah. And I went through the treatment plan, because you know, a lot of us know how to do treatment. You know, we get into it, we know how to do that stuff. So I got in there and I went through treatment and tried to know, you know, I could pick up stuff real good. And I sounded like I understood what the hell was going on. But there's parts of not using where Narcotics Anonymous has a prescribed way not to use. We just don't say, I don't want to use again. There is a way that we do it. We live this thing, okay? And we live it a particular way. That's why I'm so glad that they gave these books out, because there's information in that book that will teach you what you need to know. Now, the only problem with that book is you still don't know how to interpret the material. Okay? I remember doing my, after completing treatment, I went to my first meeting. It was an AA meeting, and they were sitting in a circle. It looked like a seance in there. And I sat all the way in the back, because I'm telling you, I didn't want to be recognized as an addict. The shame and the stigma was still on me, okay, about an addict. I'd rather be an alcoholic because it's more socially acceptable. An addict to me was somebody who was a derelict, living in the gutter with a spike in his arm. I didn't fit that evaluation of an addict. I did not understand what an addict really was until I got to Narcotics Anonymous. So I went to that meeting and I didn't identify with that. I didn't identify with people who was drinking. I did not identify with that. Alcohol is in my story, but I did not identify with what they were talking about. And I went back and I told, I was talking to my counselor, and he said, well, there's another set of meetings that you can go to, try that. Well, I didn't go. And I went back out and I got high. And I ran back to the guy and I told him, man, I think you need to lock me up because I feel like I'm out of control. He asked me, did you go to the meeting? And I said, nah. He said, well, you go to the meeting. I said, let me tell you something. Inpatient treatment is for people who are homeless, who don't have anywhere to go. You still got somewhere to go. You just got a hard head. You don't know how to follow instructions. He said, you go to a meeting and then you come back and tell me. So I took his suggestion at this time because I get ready to get put out. So I took his suggestion and I went to an NA meeting. And this guy was talking about, he was sharing about the beast within. That when that beast got unleashed, he became somebody that he didn't want to be. I could relate to that. Because at the last part of my usings, I was doing stuff I couldn't even agree with. I did not know what was wrong with me at that particular time. I was scared to death, but I still had my mask on. And they was just telling my story. I mean, they was talking about their reaction to the drug is what made them an addict, not that specific substance. And how we identify with each other in terms of the feelings that we experience as far as the loneliness and the paranoia and the fear that we all are consumed with after we can't find the ways and means to get another drug. And I identified with all that. And I was like, man, I can relate to this. And that's how I got involved with Narcotics Anonymous. I bought into the fact that, yeah, you are an addict. Now I got a sponsor and I started going through some of the stuff that they tell you in the book. I got a home group and I started going to that home group and I started making coffee. At that time, back in the days when I came in, you had to do service work. It wasn't no question about service work. You had to do it. Said if you want to be a part of this, you're going to do some service work. Everybody was doing it. I don't think I knew anybody who wasn't doing service work. Because we didn't know shit. We had the basic text. There wasn't the step working guide back then. There wasn't the It Works Out. We had a basic text and a lot of treatment papers. That's how we did step work, off of treatment papers. And we did it out of the book. and people were sharing. We didn't know nothing about the traditions. People were sharing out of the Quran. We was talking about, people was reading love letters in the meeting to the boyfriend and to the girlfriend. We was saying all kind of stuff in there. But we didn't know. We didn't have the information necessary, okay, to not break the traditions. All we was trying to do was stay clean. And that's all we did. Now, we did some other stuff. We was playing softball. We was playing cards. You know what I'm saying? All night. Just to keep from going to the dope house. That's all we did. We would stay in a facility until they put us out because we did not want to get high. And we did that for a reason. And the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of times people want to know how to work these steps. You know, I see newcomers coming to the meetings, and we have a lot of tech studies now. And people come in and they grab that book and they be rattling this stuff off. You know, I'm powerless over my addiction. My life has become unmanageable and blah, blah, blah. And listen, look, this is what you need to do. You need to get some acceptance, get you some patience, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. But this is what my sponsor told me about the steps. He said, you got to come to. You got to stay long enough to come to. Because what was happening to you in active addiction, that's your step work. In active addiction, everything you did in active addiction is your first step at work. That's your first step. That is a picture of you stark raving mad out of your mind. Right. And this is how, because I didn't want to look at none of that when I came in here. I was trying, again, I still came in here with that treatment mentality. I want to get enough recovery and get the hell out of here. Because I got things to do. I got a job to get back to. I got a girlfriend who still thinks I'm getting high. Okay, I got to pacify her. I got some stuff to do. But somewhere in that process, I'm going to tell you, a lot of it was done through service work. Somewhere in that keep coming back process and listening to people talk about the disease of addiction. Because that's what we suffer from. We suffer from a malady. Okay, let me go back. I suffer from a malady 22 years later that is trying to put a hit out on me. This thing is trying to take everything I've got. And this is what I'm saying is like, in my early days, we were taught to build a foundation of recovery. And the foundation was built by repetition. If you go in that book, Just for Today, okay, and I'm sharing like this because I see a lot of people coming to this program either trying to stay here or to find a way out of here. Okay? And if you don't get the information right, your mind will give you an excuse. This program interferes with using.
Yes, it does.
It interferes with my wanting not to be told what to do. It interferes with me having to sit. It interferes with the thoughts of me not wanting to sit in a meeting and listen to people tell me the truth about what it is that I'm doing. Because I don't want to hear the truth. I've been running from the truth all my life. Yeah. So, y'all speaking the truth to me. Part of me wants to embrace it. Part of me wants to run from it. Because I can't believe how fucked up y'all really are. And I'm just as messed up as y'all are. I don't want to admit that. And it takes a while for the withdrawal process to subside. Only thing I'm trying not to do is to interrupt that process. I'm trying not to go to the gas station and get a pack of cigarettes late at night, because that's how I usually cop. I'm trying not to go down certain streets. I'm trying not to associate with old people, places, and things. But let this weather get good, and let me want to get to ride and not have a destination. Okay, I'm liable to ride up on some people who will have me right back out there doing the same thing I was doing before I got here. Okay, because I got an ego too. I got an ego that wants to say, I can go around though and not get high. I got a disease that'll tell me, yeah, it's cool to do it. All in contradiction of the first step. But see, it ain't set in yet. It has not occurred to me the dilemma I'm really in and who is the real enemy. And let me go back to this service work piece. I'm struggling. My first 90 days, 6 months, I'm struggling because I'm still in my relapse mode. When I surrendered and picked up that white key tag, my ego went to Florida somewhere. It was nowhere around. 6 months later, it came back in town. Okay? Now I got a book. Now I'm sharing with everybody. I'm sharing with people who got more time than I got. Trying to fix them because I'm trying to be a part of it. Okay? Because I'm trying, this is the only way I know how to feel better. I'm buying all kinds of stuff. I'm filling the void with tennis shoes, watches, new outfits. You know what I'm saying? I'm dressing up. But this is the only way I know how to identify. This is the only way I know how to keep my sanity, because I have not gotten in touch with living a principle yet. So after I hit bottom with the relationships, and I said ships, okay? There's about 4 or 5 different females that I was trying to hit on at the same time. After filling the void with sex and all the outfits, okay, and all the sharing in meetings and all the resentments that I was getting with people inside the rooms in the fellowship, only then and after that did I hit bottom with me. Because I hit bottom with dope a long time ago. But I had to hit bottom with me now. And as I'm coming in, as I like, you know, and I kind of like some of the most gratifying experiences I ever had when I was doing group service. When I was like, I used to like make coffee for this meeting. Me and this dude used to make coffee all the time. We make coffee, talk shit. We'd be at the coffee pot talking shit to people. Talking about people. Laughing, joking. We did it for a year. I kept doing it. He stopped. I didn't see him again for like 5 more years. And I was talking to my sponsor about it because that scared the hell out of me. I'm telling you, it took me back to treatment, where me and this guy was going to treatment together, and we did everything together. We rode together and everything, talked about the same things, talked about the same information, tried to run the group together. When we graduated, I went to a meeting. He ended up in a hotel, overdosed, with a spike in his arm. He had picked up a couple call girls, they was in there with him, and he died. And we was doing the same process. And I know a lot of people come to meetings, you come in here with somebody, you get to know people, so on and so forth. Next thing you know, you don't see them no more. And this is where I get back to, you know, this service work thing is so important. Because it was like an anchor. You know, we talk about NA as a lifeboat in a sea of despair. Okay, well, service work is like the anchor. It keeps me here. Okay, it keeps me here when I don't want to be here. It keeps me here when I don't like nobody, when I don't like me. The only reason I don't like you is because I don't like me. Okay, I'm off my square. Okay, I'm at dis-ease with myself. I'm uncomfortable with this malady inside of me because I don't have any acceptance of it yet. So I keep coming out, I'm doing service, and somebody says something to me, it just cracks me up, man. I'm back in reality again. I'm out of my mind, back in reality. Somebody comes up and gives you a hug, you come back to life. It's the same life I tried to extinguish, okay, when I was putting that poison in my body. See, because we used to say you weren't getting high after a certain time, after a certain period of time, you weren't getting high no more. You was trying to survive on a suicide plan. And as I look real hard at that, and I'm looking at that, my disease is still tracking me all the way. And I'm saying this to say we get stopped any way we can. I don't care how you get stopped. You can get stopped through treatment, whatever. But that starts the process. Getting stopped starts the process. Then we give you some information. I got the information now. Okay? I know what I'm up against. I understand obsession compulsion. Self-centeredness. But look at what you're doing right now. I saw myself in active addiction. I understood what was happening to me being caught up. I see the progression as I'm writing out my first step. I see my weak attempts to stop on my own. I know I broke the stem and threw it in the bushes 1,000 times. Said, swear up and down, I ain't never gonna do it again. I remember sitting in the apartment, my people calling me to come home for a family event and just letting the phone ring and listen to the answering service. I remember selling everything out of my apartment of value, sitting in a room with a radio and listening to the radio all night just to stay sane. I remember all that. And I said, I don't never want to go back there. So I'm still doing this service work, right? Now I'm thinking about this as I'm considering, after all of that, I'm still considering whether I want to be here or not. Because that's what a lot of us do. We in the consideration phase of being in recovery. Do I really want to stay? Do I really want to be here? Well, look. If I hadn't gotten involved with service, I don't know if I could tell you that. Because just listening to people in meetings was not enough. I had to get to know y'all. And I had to let y'all get to know me. I remember there was a time, and everybody got their own little experience with this. When you surrender for real, surrender, when you let go of that last reservation. I was circling around the corner thinking about using. I was in my relapse mode and I ain't told nobody. Thinking about you because they say relapse happens long before you pick it up. I'm in the mode now. I'm dressing like I'm getting ready to go. I'm contemplating how I'm going to do it. I ain't picked up all this good ass sharing I was doing in the meetings. I can't pull the trigger. The one thing y'all told me to do, call somebody before you use. I can't get to the phone because I hadn't been practicing. I've been talking about it, but see, we live this thing. This is a new way to live. While we talk about all these principles and stuff, this is the principle of surrender and picking up the phone, calling somebody and asking for help to save your life. That is a principle of surrender. That is a principle that says, I can't do this by myself. That is the humility that's necessary to stay here. If you want to stay. So I'm thinking like, damn, I can't save my face and my ass at the same time. I'm trying though. I'm trying. And I made the wrong decision. But something about just coming to meetings, I swear y'all was stuck in my ear. Y'all was like, 1 is too many, 1,000 never enough. 1 is too many, 1,000 never enough. I'm like, I can't get this shit out of my head. And it's like, y'all just interrupted what I thought was going to be an opportunity to get high. Y'all took it from me. But it was because of what I was doing through service work and coming to meetings and allowing y'all to get to know a little bit about me. Even with all the mistakes I was making. Y'all just tell me, just keep coming back. You don't get this overnight. You do this one day at a time, so on and so on and so on. You gotta practice this. You gotta practice this. You gotta keep doing this. You gotta practice it. You gotta do a little bit every day. Try praying a little bit. Call somebody. Try it a little bit more. Do it a little bit different. If it don't work, come back and tell us it didn't work. So on and so on and so on. And I was doing that a little bit at a time. Until that situation happened. And the situation was removed without my permission. I came in with the drug dealer I used to cop from, lived right next door to me in my apartment. They said, I brought him to a meeting, I started talking about that. He said, well, why don't you just share about that? And he said, pray about it, keep sharing about it, pray about it, keep sharing about it. 2 days later, he was gone. He got evicted. So you don't tell me this thing don't work. So I kept on, I kept on going, and it's like, I did a little bit more service now, I'm chairing a few more meetings, and it's like, I'm starting to understand a little bit more about this unity principle. Because the unity principle puts a hit on the cliques. Because we get a little cliquish in here sometimes. So what does the unity principle say? It said cliques don't matter. It ain't about cliques. Because we all in this together. The broader the base, right? The broader the base, the higher the point of freedom. It don't matter where I go to a meeting. I'm going to an NA meeting. I ain't going to so-and-so's meeting or this meeting over here. I'm just not going with these group of people over here and blah, blah, blah. We all have our friends. We all like to do what we like to do. Okay? But I'm going where I can get some help. I'm going to where somebody's carrying a message of recovery. So I'm doing that, and I'm starting to hit this unity principle, and I see the cliques, so I stay out of the cliques. I wasn't a clique person on the other side. I didn't like cliques. I was the loner. I was the guy, just give me my dope and let me go. And that's all it was. I ain't like nobody to get high. In the end, wasn't nobody getting high with me, but me. Wasn't nobody else around. So that's what I did, I just kept it real simple. And I had a plan. I had a daily plan to stay clean. And service was such a part of that. And it was this theme of this convention is the seventh tradition. It's more than a money tradition to me. Okay? Because people there was look, you want to do something in narcotics? No, we got plenty for you to do. Okay? Set this meeting up. There was a meeting that had 80 chairs and tables in it. I set that meeting up by myself for a month. All the chairs, all the tables, because wasn't nobody else doing it. But that's what we did. We did whatever we needed to do. We did coffee, set the tables up, the chairs up. We tried to help. We greeted people at the door. These were just the basic things that we tried to do to stay, because we didn't it was the less you knew about what you was doing, it was the better. Because once you got to knowing something, then you got real dangerous after that. It's like the more you knew, the more responsibility that comes with it. Because now you know. You just don't have to take a suggestion. Now you got to understand, if I'm giving somebody some feedback, I better be able to take it too. So I got involved with this principle of trying to be a part of in a way that was more of the unspoken word. And that's what I wanted to really tell people, because like I said, we have a lot of steps and a lot of tradition meetings. It's really important that you get involved with the unspoken part of the program. There's a piece of the program that talks about if I reach out and touch somebody else's reality. Okay, and it could just mean just give them a hug. You may give them a ride to a meeting. Just call them up on the phone. It's going to enhance your recovery. It's going to give your recovery a meaning, a depth that you feel internally. And it's part of that internal process that's going to help you stay clean one more day. All the knowledge that I have been able to extract from the book and discuss with other people is meaningless unless I find a way to live it out. And a lot of that, those principles that we talk about in recovery, we talk about them in a way that they like way out in space somewhere. They're not way out in space. Powerlessness was fucking for real when you didn't have no money and you wanted the cop. Powerlessness was right up in your face. It's like I'll sit in a situation in recovery. And I'll give you a perfect example. My mother had cancer for 25 years. And she was dealing with it until it flared up. And then it became a process. She wasn't taking care of me anymore. I had to start taking care of her. The courage that they're talking about to be able to do that, because I was the only child, I was the mama's boy, I was always the one, I was the beggar. I was the one always asking for money. She was my enabler. But now I got to stand up. And at the same time that this was going on, I was going through a divorce. I was going through some other issues. I was going through some issues on the job, some financial issues, and all these were going on at the same time. Powerlessness was real plain to me in my life at that particular time. Because there wasn't nothing I could do to change any of those situations. And this is where I had to dig in. You talk about dropping that anchor, service work, and the relationships that were built from doing service. All the people that I was arguing with during when we was having our second tradition group conference, all them people that I said, well, you all don't know shit, y'all don't know what the hell you're talking about, those were the people that I relied on. Those were the people that kept me upright when I was going through these situations. And that's what I needed. Those were the same people that took me out, took me to basketball games, came and got me and said, come on, man, let's go play some golf, so on and so forth. Because that's what I do. Those were the people who got me out the house when my disease had me boarded off in my house. When I wanted to isolate in a meeting. Okay, when I didn't want to come sometimes, some days. When all the positive energy had been drained out of me. When I was feeling so low I could reach up and touch bottom. Those were the people who held me up. And a lot of those relationships were developed through me doing service work. Just being there for somebody and doing this service work. And that's a lot of the stuff that kind of stays with you and keeps you believing, because 9/10 of my program is based on belief and hope. Because I believe that what I've done to get this far still works. I've got something that I know is tangible evidence. It's not some far-reaching thing. We say a lot of times, like, we live in this part, we live by faith. Okay? Most of my problem is my view of life is so distorted, it becomes very difficult to live by faith. And this is why I need other people in the program to help put some of these things back into perspective for me. To give me a proper perspective on life. To help me understand, if you're in a relationship, people fucking leave. They go. Okay? They come and go. In a platonic relationship, in a romantic relationship. There's different levels of relationships that you need to learn and understand. There's a way to live positively and productively without being so dependent on people. If you follow the directions that we are trying to give you. If you follow, if you believe in a power greater than yourself, if you believe that this power was available to you all the time, it was available to you before you got here, and is still available to you whenever you need to access it. My problem is I didn't feel worthy of the power. I did not feel that the power was there when those situations happened that I had no control over. The times where I was abandoned by my friends when I was a child. The times where people rolled in and out of my life and I really didn't understand why. The times when I couldn't understand why I felt bad every time I woke up in the morning. Why I felt depressed every day as a child. I could not touch that power. Y'all gave me the pipeline into the power that gave me the opportunity to open up to some new possibilities about how to live and live free. And this is what these principles are trying to teach me. And I get a better understanding as I get involved in these service positions. Because you're going to see all kind of different things. I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on there. We was at a meeting today. And two addicts got into a conflict. Okay? Text says conflict is part of life. I mean, to be quite honest, it's a wonder why there's not a conflict at every meeting of what we suffer from. But we find new ways to deal with that. We find new ways to deal with each other out of respect and out of consideration fact. What I'm suffering from is what you're suffering from. It may not be expressed the same way. It may come out a little bit different. But we all suffer from something. So I have to it allows me to practice this principle. And I heard an addict who shared did a beautiful job talking about the principle of anonymity. This is how you find out, this is how you stay here. You know, because the rooms can get a little rough sometimes. You know, with all these different personalities. You know, we look for all kind of stuff in here. You know, people are looking for everything up in here. You know, we get in relationships up in here. We get into conflict with each other up in here. You know, and it gets very difficult sometimes to stay here day after day. You get bored. It's a repetitive program. You get a little bored with this thing. You might hit a period where you're a little indifferent to this thing because this is an uphill journey. Service work and coming to events like this keeps that stuff positive. If you stay as positive as you can make it through anything. I don't care what it is you're going through. There's no problem that the program of Narcotics Anonymous cannot deal with. But that comes from a practice belief. And this is what I try to do, I try to keep my program as positive as possible. I try to enjoy people as much as I can. I try to expand whatever it is that I'm doing. I try to take it somewhere where I haven't taken it before. You know, and we can take this program and you can take this program anywhere you want to take it. There's nothing that you cannot accomplish without these steps. You know, because we focus a lot on, once you get to the point where you have arrested the drug aspect of your addiction, there's nothing you can't do with this program. We got people going to school, getting degrees, getting married, living their dream. And then I got to figure out, okay, how do I keep all this shit? How do I maintenance it and maintenance me, okay, without going overboard with it? Because I can get on this ego trip and forget where the real power source lies. I can forget. I was talking to another addict about this too. You get a certain amount of time in this program, you feel like you don't need to come to meetings no more. I'll just do a drive-by, pick up my clean time and let everybody know I'm still clean and go on about my business and lose everything. Don't think you can't lose it all. And my program, my disease will have a field day with that. And that's one of the things, when issues come up in my life, because I've been consistently coming and doing service work. Service work is the block in my foundation that keeps me coming consistently. And working with other addicts and allowing them to work with me. So when issues come up like that, I'm able to work through those issues. I'm not going to get stuck and can't turn the page. So that's why, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity. This is my opportunity. We talk about addicts who live 2 lifetimes in one. This is my opportunity. If you clean today, this is your opportunity to take a chance on yourself and to take a chance on this program. Because I know I talk to a lot of addicts, man, a lot of addicts, especially new addicts. We got a lot of young addicts who are coming in this process. They need us to reach out to them because a lot of our younger addicts don't feel like they fit. They don't feel like they didn't do the same stuff that some of us older folks did. So they don't feel a part of all the time. So what we did, we started a meeting that we want to attract our younger addicts to this meeting so they can start sharing with each other and talk about issues that are relevant to them. A lot of our younger addicts don't believe alcohol is a drug. They don't think marijuana is a drug. They got jacked up on another drug. So they don't identify with what we're talking about. We changed generations up in here. I came in on the stem and the crack generation. Some people came in on the heroin generation. Some people came in on another generation. And we talk about we need to eliminate those differences and start focusing in on we all fail as a drug user. And we all trying to figure out a new way to live. Okay, by practicing these principles and by allowing ourselves to come in here and have the privilege to stay clean and recover. Because you got that right to recover. You know, a lot of times people feel like, you know, because of their circumstances that they don't fit. Okay, whether it's been relapse, whether it's been a drug that you use, your living situation, whether or not people seem to like you or don't like you, you fit. You are guaranteed that seat, and it was paid for by the price of your pain. You fit up in here, you got rights up in here. But the one thing about rights, it's just like membership. If you don't understand what they are, people will take them from you. You got rights up in here. You have a right to be here and to recover. And I'm speaking to a lot of people that I know that struggle with the personalities, that do struggle with the amount of time some addicts have. You know, as we stay as a fellowship, we accumulate a lot of time. And when you first come into time can be intimidating to people. But time is only relevant to one thing. It's only relevant to the day that you're aware that you need to stay clean. This is the day that you need to stay clean. If you all off into what's going on 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, you will miss the most important day of your life. Clean time is relevant today. It is only relevant today. And it only becomes more relevant by the information that you gather. If you're not gathering information on how to stay clean, it doesn't matter how long you've been here. It's what you do with your time that's important. Not that you just have it. Because a lot of people can have time. And I've seen people who have time and don't work this process. It's a killer. It's a killer. And a lot of people with time have gone back out because they weren't working this process. So you have an opportunity right now to open the door and allow this power to come in and start working in your life. The process is beautiful. If you listen to the speakers who were talking today, what I got out of what they were saying is a result of the work that they put in this process. How much they bought into the Narcotics Anonymous process and what it means to them in their lives, the relationships that they have reestablished with their families, the process of growing up and becoming a productive member of this society. Things that I should have been doing long ago are now possible. Because I thought having a good job and having a degree was all that you needed to live life successfully. I thought having money was all you needed to live life successfully. I had all that and was miserable. That's why I kept going back to the dope house. Because I didn't understand who I was. And I didn't understand how life operates. Life don't operate based on materialism. Materialism and a better standard of living is possible, but only with an internal change. It's how I look at it. It's how I value it. Who do I value the most? What do I value the most? Whatever it is, and you can just say, you can answer that question real easy. What are you thinking about? That'll tell you. If I'm all twisted about that job that I don't have a place to stay, that's what you value. If you value money, that's what you're thinking about. Whatever I'm thinking about, wherever I put the most energy into, that's what I'm gonna get. If my recovery is not at the top of my priority list, I'm not gonna get much out of it. You put your investment into recovery, all things are possible. You can have whatever it is that you want to have. Just be careful when you get it. Because it might not be what you really want. I got a whole lot of stuff that I thought I wanted, and it turned out that wasn't what I really wanted at all. I'm going to tell you what I really wanted. I'm going to tell you what I want right now. I want to be a father to my daughter. That's what I really want to be. Okay? I want to be a credit to my mother's good name. Okay? She's passed on now. My mother has a good name, a respect that people would die for. That's what I want. I want to be able to respect myself. I want the respect of my friends. That's what I want. Okay? I want to live each day like it's the last day of my life. I want to give everything I have for this privilege of getting a second chance. Now that's a very lofty goal. Those are lofty goals because I fall short every day. But I get up every morning and recommit myself to pursuing those goals. And I'm getting a little bit closer every day. And I see a lot of people here. I do, part of what I do is I work with children. Okay, I do youth development programs for kids. I work with kids who are incarcerated in the state of Ohio. And I'm gonna tell you one thing, I work with troubled kids, kids who got problems, kids like us, shit. Ain't no different from we are. And I'm gonna tell you something about parents working with your children. You have been blessed beyond belief to have your children back in your life. Because you have the program and you can give it to them. This is what they are missing in their life. Someone who cares about them, someone who wants the best for them. And that's what a lot of us missed when we were coming up. Somebody who believed in us and wanted to help us become the best person that we could be. And some of us got that and brushed it off and wanted to go our own way. We rebelled against that stuff. But now we understand that that's really what we wanted in the first place. We wanted to live life to the fullest. We wanted to be able to accept ourselves. We wanted to be able to help other people and be appreciated for who we are as a human being. And we have that opportunity now. This event has given me new hope that addicts can change the world. We can change anything in this society that we want to. We cross all bounds. We cross social, economic barriers, ethnic barriers, cultural barriers. It doesn't matter to us. We have the power to change not only lives, but society itself. Pete, you would be amazed at how outside society supports so much what we do. I mean, I got judges calling me, asking me advice on what I can do with kids that they have no clue what's wrong with them. I don't know what's wrong with them. I said, like, shit, they didn't know what was wrong with us either. And this is, it's like a privilege for us that we can go out here, and I am so impressed with all these young addicts who are coming in here. You are so blessed. You ain't got to tear your life up for the next 20 years just to get this program. I'm going to tell you that now. You don't have to go out there to get it like we got it. You got it right now, and it's right here. All you got to do is go take advantage of it. So this is what, my message is. This is such a beautiful event. I would just like to say this, it's like, I'm going to say this, I'm going to kind of like wrap it up. There is a passage when we talk about how to live by faith, and it's like our second step kind of does something for us, okay? Because I always kind of like embrace the second step because there's no insanity in the second step. All my insanity is in the first step. My second step does something for me. It accepts me right where I'm at anytime I'm ready to acknowledge it. And all I got to do is look at all those situations in the first step that I kind of like took credit for, that I got out of, and understand that this power was watching out for me long before I understood it. It already knows everything I've already done, okay? And it still accepts me. It gave me this program and accepts me right where I'm at. All I got to do is acknowledge it. And all I got to do is ask it for whatever help that I need. And it is provided instantly. Not next week. I'm talking about the minute I ask for it. Help is provided. I appreciate y'all listening. My name is Greg. I'm an addict.
All right. I'll tell you what, if you didn't get a